there is okay, I think you can see, okay, yeah, you can see we have the Indian Ocean trade and slavery. Now, this is not something new. We started this some time back, but we are finalizing it. After finalizing this, then we shall look at something different. So the Indian Ocean trade, we started this the other time. We introduced it. We looked at the reasons as to why it developed in East Africa. So we have remained with a few things that we are supposed to be looking at. And then from there, we'll go and look at a different topic. So that is our heading. And yes, we even saw that the other time, but of course I've brought it back to show you that this is how Africans, this is how these Africans carried the goods to the coast. And after carrying the goods to the coast, unfortunately, they could also be sold as slaves. So you can see they are carrying goods from the interior to the coast. Now, reaching the coast after selling the goods, then these Arabs, as you can see, also sold them as the slaves. Okay, so we also have so we are now going to look at problems faced during slave trade. Because why are we beginning with the problems? Because we have looked at almost all the beginning information. We looked at the reasons why it developed, okay? And we now have to look at the problems faced during this trade. So before I give you what I prepared for you, I now expect to hear from you, okay? I want to hear from you. You tell me some of the problems these people faced during this slave trade, okay? Remember, we so much concentrated on slave trade, but the trade items were many, okay? The trade items were many, but the most lucrative business was slave trade. That is why here we majorly concentrated on slave trade in what we call Indian Ocean trade. Okay, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, please, teacher. They faced the problem of hostile tribes, since some tribes didn't want people to cross through their boundaries.
Thank you so much, Sumin, for that. Hostile tribes, indeed. In East Africa, we had such tribes that never wanted to see the traders passing through their land, and it was such a big problem to the traders. Thank you so much, Sumin, for that. I have now Melissa. You can unmute yourself.
They faced harsh weather conditions and walking long distances.
Sorry, Melissa, the first
They faced harsh weather conditions.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Melissa. Harsh weather. Harsh weather. Yes, the weather was not so good. So it was ever raining, and the rainy season could not favor the traders. Remember, the roads were not so good, so the roads could become slippery. Not even roads, actually routes could become slippery, and everything was not actually good for the traders. Thank you, Melissa, for that. Then Angel. Angel. Angel, can you unmute yourself?
Lack of medical supplies.
Lack of medical supplies. Thank you, Angel. Yeah, they didn't have enough medicine. Yes, they didn't have enough medicine, and many of them were dying from the tropical diseases. Thank you. I have Shidashan, I think. Okay, you can unmute yourself.
The distances involved to move into interior by Arabs were too long, and therefore they had to travel very many miles into the interior to trace the local markets where slaves were sold by local chiefs in the interior.
Yes, thank you so much. The distance was actually too long. These people could travel very many miles. And remember, the goods were being carried by slaves. So you can imagine, you are walking and at the same time carrying. So it was too hard for the slaves and for the masters themselves, because they were also walking. Thank you. Then I have Baguma Ignatius. Baguma, you can unmute yourself. Baguma, please. Baguma, can you unmute yourself? Oh, I think Baguma has issues. Baguma. Okay.
They request a problem of dangerous animals.
Yes. Thank you, Baguma. Dangerous animals in the interior. Dangerous animals in the interior. These animals ate them, killed them, and disrupted the trade. Thank you. Massey, unmute yourself. Massey, Desire, and Christine. Sorry? Language barrier. Okay. One of you should contribute. Yes? Language barrier. Language barrier. Okay. Thank you for that. Language barrier. Language barrier. Okay, yes, but it was smaller extent because Arabs had already entered the interior. They had taught Africans the Swahili language. In fact, they were using Swahili as a language of communication. But yes, some people could not actually understand the language. To a small extent, yes, it is also one of the problems faced by these people. Thank you. Then I have Daphne. I have Daphne. Yeah, Daphne. Can you unmute yourself?
They faced a problem of fatigue since the distance was very long, so they got so tired easily.
Okay, thank you. Fatigue. Thank you for that. Fatigue, yes, was also another problem. The distance was too long, and of course, some of them could even get sick on the way. Some of them could even could not actually carry the goods up to the coast. Thank you. A moment, let me see from that. Apollo was actually giving me a point here that bad weather. Thank you, Apollo. Yes, bad weather was another problem that these people actually had to face. Pius, unmute yourself.
They face the problem of crossing like physical features.
Okay. Thank you, Pius. Crossing physical features. Some physical features were, of course, a problem, but later on they developed what we call caravan routes. Okay. As time went on, they had these caravan routes, and that problem was no more. Okay. I have another person here. This is Immaculate. Unmute yourself. Immaculate, Mary, and Angela.
Teacher?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
So
Teacher,
yes.
Teacher,
Yes, please.
the natives were displaced from their homeland. Were displaced from their homeland.
Or the natives were displaced from their homeland. Okay. The natives were displaced from their homeland. How is it connected to the problems faced by the traders? Yeah, the problems faced by the traders, because that is what we are looking at. But nevertheless, thank you for that. I have Chirabo. Unmute yourself.
There was harsh climate. A problem of harsh climate.
Harsh climate. Yes, thank you for that. Harsh climate. We've talked about the rainy seasons, which actually made it a little bit hard for the traders to carry out the trade smoothly. Okay, I have Sharon. Sharon.
what you mean. It's good when we explain this thing.
Poor accommodation due to poor transport to health centers.
Poor accommodation. Poor accommodation. Okay. Yeah, because remember they used it to work for months. Sometimes they could not get the good accommodation. Yes, because they were ever walking. At times they had to stay or to sleep on the way, and they didn't get the accommodation, the decent one they would, of course, that they would have. Okay, I have Ruftana. You can unmute yourself.
Improper nutrition.
Improper nutrition.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe. Okay. Thank you. Maybe you are talking about shortage of food, something like that. But as time went on, they introduced the different types of crops that could be eaten by the different people from the different continents, because we had the traders from Asia, traders from Europe, and most of them could not actually feed on the tropical foods. Okay, thank you. Then I have Babuma. Babuma, you're coming back? Okay. Babuma.
Poor transport and communication network.
Yeah, poor transport and communication network. Yes, that was another problem faced by these people. Thank you. Then Davita. Yes, Davita. Davita, you are not talking. I don't know what has happened to Davita. Okay, then I have Azizi.
Teacher, attacks from hostile tribes.
Attacks from
hostile tribes.
Hostile tribes. Yes, thank you for that. Hostile tribes. I believe most of the points have been mentioned. I don't know whether someone, the hands I'm still seeing. Do you have points that they've not talked about? Okay, let me hear from Shida Shan. Okay.
Family breakages became common as husbands and wives took different directions while running away from the slave riders.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that elaboration that we are talking about family breakages. Okay. Yeah, many could take different directions as they were running away from the slave raiders, and at the end of the day, they experienced what we call family breakages. Joy, okay, Joy.
Death of some Africans.
Death of some Africans. Okay, death of some Africans. How was it a problem to the slave traders? Okay, thank you for that. I have I don't know if I'm pronouncing it. I think Brickley. Brickley, you can unmute yourself.
Diseases,
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it.
Malaria.
Sorry?
Smallpox, sleeping sickness. Particle diseases. E.g. malaria, smallpox, sleeping sickness.
Yes, thank you so much. Tropical diseases. The traders actually faced such a problem. It was such a big problem because at the time they didn't have the medicine for such diseases. Thank you. I have NASA's Gloria. You can unmute yourself.
Unsanitary living conditions.
Unsanitary
sanitary living conditions.
Okay. Yeah. The poor living conditions. Okay, the conditions were good. And of the day, it affected the traders. Thank you for that contribution. I also have I don't know whether someone is using. Okay, I can see admin. Yes, I'm seeing a hand up. Admin. Okay. Then are you going to say something?
There was no immediate substitute for slave trade.
No immediate substitutes for slave trade. Immediate substitutes for slave trade. At that time, they wanted slaves. They never wanted to substitute the slaves for anything. Okay, thank you. Then I have someone by this name, Australia actually. Australia.
It resulted in 2 loss of independence by East Africa states.
Okay, loss of independence by the states in East Africa. Well, that is not a problem faced by the traders. Baguma, you're back again.
Yes,
Baguma.
energetic African men were taken to carry goods.
Were made to carry goods. Okay, thank you for all your contributions. I don't know whether people have got different views from what they've already given me, because I can hear people just repeating what they have already given us. Michael, do you have something different? Michael, you can unmute yourself.
Teacher, brain drain. Teacher.
Brain drain?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. Brain drain. Yeah, we cannot say that was one of the problems faced by the traders. Daphne, do you have something different? Because I can see almost all we need has been talked about.
I just want to add on this answer which my colleague has given, death of Africans.
Yes.
Teacher,
yes.
Since these Africans and these traders were attacked by hostile animals, that means some Africans would die and the traders would lose them, so they would reduce the number of slaves which they would sell.
Oh, okay. In that line, yes, I can say that the slaves were dying, being eaten by them, or being killed by the hostile slave raiders. But it is again the slave raiders that were killing them. If it is the slave raiders that were killing them, then it was not a problem of the raiders, because the raiders are the traders we are looking at. Okay. Well, now, I don't know whether these other people still have something different. Okay, Frank.
Harsh climate conditions.
Okay, thank you. Harsh climate conditions. That one, someone mentioned it. Wycliffe. Anything? Wycliffe?
Tropical diseases.
Tropical diseases. Thank you for that. But someone had mentioned it already. So I believe most of the points have been mentioned. Australia, something different?
The British slave campaign lacked cooperation from their European countries. It gave French, German, Brazil, and Spain.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. But cooperation? Maybe if we are to modify it a little bit, talk about competition between the traders or among the traders. Okay. I believe most of the points have been given. Now, thank you. I can still see people's hands up, but in the interest of time, let me also look at let us try to look at some of these points we might not have given. Actually, Sari gave us a point here. Thick forests. Thank you, Sari. That is one of the problems that were faced. And death of slaves. Yes, someone was talking about that. Okay. Yeah, wild animals from Victor Egual. Yes. Then what else? Attacks. Yeah, diseases. Diseases from Apollo. Yes, that one has been talked about. Heavy taxes imposed by the interior local chiefs. Thank you. This was Shidashan. Thank you. Heavy taxes imposed by the interior local chiefs were a problem. Yeah, we had the interior chiefs, and these people were actually imposing high taxes on the traders. For example, we had Nyungu Yamawe, then there was Mirambo. These ones imposed high taxes on the traders, which was not healthy. Thick vegetation from Ayebale, thank you. Yeah, harsh treatment from Apollo, thank you. Violation of slave rights. At the time, slaves never had rights. At the time, maybe you are talking about yeah, of course they had rights, natural rights, but there was no constitution protecting them, if I can say. Okay, now let us try to briefly look at what I have for you here, and then we go and look at something else, because we also have another subheading we are supposed to look at. So here we are. These are some of the problems people have mentioned. The distance involved was too long. Yes, someone has even just mentioned that. I've read it from the chat. Then there is also this heavy taxes. We've just talked about this one, that leaders such as Mirambo and Nyungu Yamawe imposed heavy taxes on the traders, and it became a little bit hard for the traders to carry out their trade smoothly. So these are some of the local leaders we are talking about. Okay, you can see on the left I have Mirambo, Chief Mirambo. Then on the right hand I've got Nyungu Yamawe. These are some of the African chiefs that imposed heavy taxes on the traders. Okay. Okay. Then we have this other point there. High interest rates. Actually, no one has talked about this one. High interest rates charged by the Indian Banyans made the slave trade unprofitable. Yeah, Indian Banyans, these ones used to give loans to the traders, but at the end of the day, they could charge them high in as far as interests were concerned. So this made the trade unprofitable because the Indian Banyans charge the traders high. Tropical diseases, people have been talking about this one, malaria, smallpox, and so many others affected the smooth running of the what? Of the trade. You can see wild animals like the lions used to attack the slave traders along the way to the coast. Indeed, this is true. The wild animals so much disrupted the trade. Okay. We have that one there. Competition for ivory and slaves. Yeah, at last we talked about this point of competition. There is a student who mentioned rivalry between the Europeans, but the examples given were not actually the right one that we needed. But of course, we are talking about competition for slaves in the interior. The Arabs could compete for the slaves, then the Asians, Arabs from the coast, then the Asians, and then not only the slaves, by the way, even some other goods. Remember, we said that yes, we are looking at Indian Ocean trade, though we so much concentrated on the slave trade, right? But there were some other goods that these people were also buying and selling. Okay, moment. Timothy, I didn't get your point. I can see construction. I've not got the point. Then Yeah, someone was like, did those chiefs have like kingdoms? All, yeah, they had, I can call them societies or chiefdoms. Yeah, they had these chiefdoms. They had them. Okay, okay. There is this. Now, we talked about the competition for ivory and slaves. Okay, and the competition for ivory and slaves led to the introduction of the gun. And when the gun was introduced in the interior, then the traders feared coming into the interior to get the goods because they thought they could be killed from there. So there is the gun that was introduced by the area that the Portuguese, of course, and the Arabs at the coast. Then we have this point, language barrier. Someone talked about it, yes, which became a problem to slave traders. Language barrier, okay? They could not communicate very well. So I told you that as time went on, of course, the Arabs kept on learning Swahili. Then there was a mix-up of interior languages and Swahili. So they developed a language that they could use in the trade very well. Then hostile tribes in the interior, people have talked about that. Yes, the Nandi could not actually just let these slave raiders, take them, and so many other, of course, talk about the Banyoro and the Kabalega. Those ones could not accept it to be taken by the slave traders. Then we have poor infrastructure in the interior, also made slave trade difficult. Yes, poor infrastructure. Now you can see how they were moving. You can see the steepness of the roots, the roots, and you can see how they were, moving. They could tie logs in there, as you can see, logs are tied in their necks, and the moving became a little bit hard. Someone is hand tied behind, you can see. Then there is a log in his neck, and as he's moving, when he falls down, the next person behind him also has to fall down. So I think you can see, and that is how they kept on dying on the way to the coast. Okay. In a climate, we talked about this. Okay, made slave trade very difficult. Rainy climate. When it is a rainy season, trade cannot be smooth. There is no way you can have it carried out smoothly. Yes, we have this one here, the European Christian missionaries who came to East Africa, condemned the slave trade as evil and illegal activity. Yes, okay. The European Christian missionaries condemned the slave trade. So it became a problem to the traders. For them, they were promoting it, but again, the Christian missionaries were like, this is not right, okay? Okay, someone's hand was up, but I think it has gone down. Okay. Then you have this other point here. Invention of machines by Industrial Revolution, like tractors replaced slave slave labor. And this was another problem that affected slave trade. Now, we are looking at a time when the Europeans came up with machines. As a result of the Industrial Revolution, there was discovery of machines such as tractors that could work, that replaced labor. At the end of the day, the demand for slaves went down. Why? Because the tractors were now replacing the slave labor, and there was no need for labor anymore, for slaves anymore. So this led to them a decrease in the demand for slaves, and it affected the slave traders. Okay, Wycliffe, where is? You've lowered your hand. Okay. Okay, Wycliffe.
Let me see how many.
Wycliffe, are you saying something?
Introduction of railway transport.
Yes. How was it a problem to the slave traders?
It limited the need of slaves since goods were being moved by trains.
Oh, okay. Okay. The railway line. The railway line did not so much affect the slave raiders. Isaiah, do you have something different?
Teacher, I've not understood this last point.
Oh, okay. I'm going to repeat it for you. Ignatius.
Teacher, there was a problem of man-eaters in the interior of East Africa.
Okay, man-eaters in the interior of East Africa. Thank you. We have talked about that. Okay. Sharon.
Poor construction of roads while crossing large water bodies.
Poor construction of roads at the time they were using routes. They never had roads, the permanent roads. They were just using routes, and I've given that point that the routes were impassable, and matters were made worse by the rain, which made the routes slippery and impassable. Okay, Nakato.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, your hand was up.
Me too have not understood the last point.
Okay, let me repeat at that point. Someone also talked about it. Michael, do you have something different? Yes.
The problem of crossing physical features of East Africa.
Crossing physical features of East Africa. We looked at that point. But thank you. People, you are just repeating what we've looked at. I don't know that you've got something different. JB, anything different? JB? Okay. In the interest of time, I am finishing up with these outlines I've been giving you, and let me try to repeat the explanation. Okay, before there, briefly, are you saying something different? Briefly and is it Chimera? Briefly? Yes. Do you have something?
Baruga.
Sorry?
Baruga. Insecurity by Baruga.
Come again?
Insecurity by Baruga.
Or insecurity. Okay, that falls under hostile tribes. Okay. Okay. Now let us try to finish up. Let me try to repeat. Some people wanted an explanation of the last point, but before that, okay, Michael, you are the last one. Have you got something different, Michael?
Death of slaves due to harsh treatment by the slave traders.
Okay, thank you. Death of slaves, we had mentioned that, but okay. Invention of machines by the Industrial Revolution. People are saying they've not got to this point very well. Now this is what we mean. Invention of machines by the Industrial Revolution. There was Industrial Revolution in Europe, okay? European countries started up industries. And when they came up with industries, they also produced machines that replaced labor. We refer to them as producer goods, okay? They invented the producer goods. A tractor is a producer good. So when they invented these goods, they no longer needed the slaves. Because they no longer needed the slaves, the raiders in East Africa didn't have anywhere to sell the slaves, meaning that the demand for slaves reduced, and it became a problem to the slave traders. I don't know whether that point is clear to whoever was saying that it is not clear. Okay. Okay, so I believe the point is clear. Someone is saying, teacher, we are not getting the notes. Yes. we uploaded the notes you are supposed to be using. The teachers, the learner's guide or guides, we uploaded them there. Go to the Google Classroom and get these guides there. All of this information is in there. You can find it there. Okay. Yes, we have this other statement here. Okay, now that is the activity. I will actually send a question that I would like you to try out. Okay, you may not try out these ones. I will send you a question that I would like you to try out. Now, from there, we also have to look at results of slave trade. Okay, results. I am giving you 10 minutes to contribute to this, and then I will also use the 10 to give more clarification on what you would have contributed. You can have your hands up, and then we look at the effects of slave trade. We have now switched over to the effects, to the results of slave trade. Shida Shan, unmute.
Yes. New crops were introduced in East Africa in order to feed the passing caravans.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are talking about new crops being introduced, and these crops were to feed the passing caravans. Thank you. Thank you. I have Brickley. Unmute yourself. Brickley. Brickley and I think it's Chimera. Andrew Chimera. Is it Andrew? Okay, Brickley.
Yes.
Yes.
It caused a lot of suffering.
A lot of suffering. How? To which type of people? Okay. Thank you. Suffering to the people who are raided, okay? To the Africans that they were raiding, because their houses could be burnt down, their crops could be cut down, because they were using what we call the scorched earth policy. All right, thank you. I have Jane Francis. Jenny Francis, your hand is up, and okay. Waswa and Nakato. Waswa and Nakato. Are you unmuting? Okay, from Victor, it increased the tribal wars. Yes. Displacement of East Africa from the chart. Yes. Thank you for that. Death of Africans. Yes. Thank you for that effect. And death of Africans has been given by Apple. Thank you. Waswa and Nakato. Okay. They are not unmuting. Then I have, okay, Adikin Petronera.
Teacher, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
It reduced the population of people in East Africa.
Yes, thank you for that. The population of people in East Africa reduced. Why? Because some of them could be killed, others taken as slaves, and all of that. Then Irita Najoga.
It led to the growth of many towns at the coastal interior of East Africa.
Many, sorry, led to?
It led to the growth of many towns at the interior and the coast of East Africa.
Yes. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, there was something there that interrupted us, but nevertheless, I'm now back. Let me try to share the screen again. A moment, please. Okay, so we're here looking at results C of slave trade, right? And people were contributing, and unfortunately, there was an issue that interrupted us. Okay, Baguma, please. Baguma, can you unmute? Okay.
It led to separation of families.
Separation of families. Thank you. Yes, that is true. Indeed, the families were separated. Because many were running away from this trade of the day. The families had to break down. Thank you for that. Nasaz, you can unmute also.
It intensified effects
Nasaz, yes.
Amongst its rulers, kinships, kingdoms, and in the society.
It intensified, sorry, come again. It intensified?
It intensified effects that were already present amongst its rulers, kinships, kingdoms, and in the society.
Okay, but you are not clear, like which interests. Okay, maybe you are talking about rivalry. If it's rivalry, that it intensified rivalry, that is right. Okay. There is someone by the name of admin. Yes, can you unmute yourself? I can see your hand is up.
Transport was improved.
Transport was improved. Later. Thank you for that.
Teacher
the caravan route. Yes, please.
I want the student who has renamed herself as admin to rename her. Let's use appropriate names. You can always go to, you click on your name and you write your appropriate names. So let's avoid using the name of teachers.
Now,
let's avoid using the name of our devices and so forth. So I will instruct you that starting from today, don't pick any student who is using names that you do not understand. They are not going to be talking on our lessons. So if you want to talk, rename your device very well in your name so that teacher can pronounce your name very well. Not just Techno, not that Sony, not the Novo. No, we want to know your names. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Charles. I think you've heard from our admin. Our admin says, let us rename ourselves, okay? And most especially people with funny names, okay? Try to rename yourselves, at least with a decent name. All right. Okay, we have Brickley. You can unmute yourself. Brickley. Waiting to hear from you.
It ready to poverty because strong men were always taken away as slaves.
Yes, thank you. Strong men could be taken away as slaves, and that retarded the economy of the East Africans. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also have okay, Davis. Davis, you can unmute yourself.
Teacher, it led to child-headed families.
Sorry, Davis, come again.
It led to child-headed families.
Davis, I'm not actually hearing you very well. I can hear families.
It led to child-headed families.
Extended families.
Child-headed.
Child-headed.
Yeah.
Child-headed. Okay, okay, now I get you. Families being headed by children because their fathers had been taken and the mothers. Yeah, misery, of course, misery. All right, thank you. Then I have Michael.
Teacher, slave
Yes.
trade led recognition of East Africa to the outside countries.
Yes, thank you for that point. It introduced East Africa to the outside world. Thank you, thank you. Daphne.
Yes, teacher. Crop production reduced in East Africa since the strong men were taken away.
Yes, production reduced in East Africa because the strong men were taken as slaves. Eunice. 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 Eunice is not unmuting. Noeline.
Yes, it led to insecurity in African societies since the strong men who would protect the areas were taken as slaves.
Yes, thank you. Insecurity. Yeah, insecurity because even slavery in itself was insecurity already. Okay, Deborah. Deborah.
It led to the rise of some states that had access to the gun and also led to the decline of
Deborah, you are breaking.
Teacher, can you hear me?
You were breaking, so you can repeat yourself.
It led to the rise of some states that had access to the gun and also led to the decline of others who had no access to the gun.
Yes, thank you so much. Emergency of strong states that had access to the gun and the decline of small states that never had access to the gun. Thank you, thank you. Now we were supposed to look at this in 10 minutes time. We have gone beyond that, but I can still see people's hands are up. In the interest of time, let us briefly share this and then we'll call it a day. New crops, someone has talked about them. You've seen that. East Africans heavily suffered under the slave trade. Indeed, the people of East Africa suffered. You can see this one here. It led to increased tribal wars. Yes, okay. Tribal wars because people were fighting. Slave raiders were fighting with the chiefs who were selling them and all that. I can see your hands are still up, but we don't have time. But most of the points again have been given. That is why you are seeing I'm just people lost their families and they became detribalized. Indeed, this is very true, very, very true. There was depopulation in East Africa. Someone has talked about that, and that is true. East Africa witnessed the plan of houses, food stores, and farmlands. Yeah, these could be destroyed. Of course, you can see they are being attacked. Others are taking off their houses are destroyed up there. So I think you can see these are just paintings. They are not camera pics. That is why you see they are not as good as camera pics. They're just paintings. Because at the time they didn't have cameras. Okay. You can see this point here. Family breakages. Someone has talked about it, as husbands and wives took different directions as they were fighting for their lives from the slave raiders. We have that other point there. It opened East Africa to the outside world. Someone has just mentioned that. Led to the growth of many towns. Indeed, yes, Kilwa, Sofara, Malindi, Mombasa, and so many others. Plantation farms were set up near the slave towns. Indeed, that is true. The slaves would work in these plantation farms. The participants in this trade became very rich. That is true. Nyungu ya mawe and this Mirambo. Then talk about Saidi, all of those ones. Okay. Better terms of trade were introduced. Better items of trade were introduced in the interior of East Africa, clothes, beads, and so many others. So from there, these are the activities, but don't worry. These activities, I will send you what you are supposed to be giving me, what you are supposed to be writing about, not these ones here. Now I can come back to you whose hands are up. First of all, in the chat here, someone was saying it brought fear to East Africa. Yes, that is Isaiah. Then Apollo says, oh, Apollo, okay. Mutual distrust among these people, that is from patience. Child-headed families, someone has already given that. Families were disunited, yes. Okay, from the chat, I've also seen your messages there. Briefly coming back to those whose hands are up. Oh, you've put your hands down. I don't know. Okay, they're here. Angela. Angela, please unmute yourself. Angela is not talking. Okay. Then Nassaz, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They grew powerful and wealthy as a result.
Leaders, are you saying leaders became powerful?
No, the slaves grew powerful and wealthy as a result.
The slaves? Okay.
The leaders.
The leaders. Okay, thank you. The leaders, we have seen that point. I've talked about it. That people like Nyungu ya mawe, Mirambo, then Saidi, those ones became very, very rich. They benefited a lot from the trade. Okay.
It's teacher.
Yes.
It brought about a negative impact on African societies and led to the long-term
negative impact on African societies
and led to the long impoverishment of West Africa.
Okay, the people of East Africa, I think you're talking about East Africa, became so poor. Yes, because the strong men were taken that could have worked, and of course, yes, they could not actually do much. All right, Nifuna, you can unmute.
Sir, there was a problem of famine.
famine. Okay, thank you. A problem of famine that is
destroyed. The plantation.
Okay, a problem of famine that is true. That is true because the people that would have cultivated it were taken as slaves. Thank you for all that. But our time is up. I think okay, someone who has not yet contributed. Wycliffe.
It led to the expansion of kingdoms.
Expansion of kingdoms. That is true. Kingdoms that had the power of the gun expanded at the expense of small ones. Thank you. Ivy. Ivy. Unmute yourself, Ivy. Okay. If Ivy is not unmuting, I think we've come to the end of our lesson. Yes, I can see your hands are many, but we may not actually look at all the people whose hands are up because we don't have that time. Yes, we don't have time to look at all people whose hands are up, but we have actually come to the end of what we are supposed to be looking at. And